there's applause. There's applause, and there's taking the mic. Right.
Taking the mic, Gigi.
Exactly. Now it's going to be trouble tonight. Welcome to the Chelsea Football Fancast, fueled by Guinness, powered by Celery, the show that will one day have its own statue, possibly outside of the Hand and Flower pub. Anyway, I am Stanford Chidge, and the name of tonight's show is the Chelsea Football Fancast, ifs, buts, and maybes. Now, we finish with an away win at Cardiff, but in truth the match summed up our season, failing to put away chance after chance. Jose finishes outside of the top two for the first time in 10 years, but when all is said and done, our league campaign has been much improved, and if it hadn't been for those pesky kids, if it hadn't been for the poor results against Sunderland and Norwich, we may have been champions. Now, at least our goal record survives intact, and the Scousers were denied a first title in 24 years. Yes. There's always a silver lining. Always a silver lining. Later, well, that's coming later. Right, now, you've probably figured out it's going to be a bit mental tonight. Anybody would have thought that we throw this show together. They would be right. I am also incredibly ill. I am suffering from what can only be described as toxic withdrawal as of no football this weekend, and therefore my liver doesn't quite know what's going on. But never mind. Tonight we have on the show, we've got Pablo.
Hello, Tid, you alright?
I'm all right. Well, I'm not. I'm dying, actually.
Other than that,
I'm on great form. Dazza.
Good evening.
I like your shirt.
I didn't know it was going to clash with the background. It was going to go funny.
No, you haven't quite disappeared.
No, your phone's doing your little funny things, but slightly.
My phone's kind of...
Slightly. Not now you've done it like that, but like that always.
How are you? You all right?
I'm good. I'm very good, thank you.
Now, we also have... the forgotten man, it has to be said. Uncle Chidge, in his senility, forgot that he agreed with Dan Levine no more than 6 weeks ago that he would be on this show. But thankfully, Dan pointed this out on Twitter, like the fine man that he is. Good to see you, Dan.
And you can't get rid of me now.
I would hate to get rid of you.
We love you, Dan.
We love you, Dan. He's also got his smelling salts in case I need them.
There you go. Get some of that.
Have you tried it yet?
We've done that gag. I'm
okay,
not doing
put
it. No, maybe later if I feel the need. But there you go. Now, because I forgot that Dan was coming, and as he's our guest, so as befits the rules of this show, Jonathan Kidd turned up later than everybody else, so he is on the sofa or the benches this week. Boo! We love Jonathan. Hey, round of applause! The thing is that,
Chidge, how ill are you?
I'm very ill.
Because I could take over at a second's notice.
Only if you could do it in the style of Trevor the horse.
Trevor the horse, oh yeah.
And remember to look at the camera.
Forgetting, of course, I should be looking at the camera, of course.
The other thing is, of course, is that the one good thing about Jonathan being on the benches tonight is he's one of the few here that were old enough to probably sit on the benches originally. I know Andy was.
50p?
Yeah, exactly. He's also probably going to be very, very naughty because he's out of everybody's reach.
Yes.
So there you go. So it could be fun. Who have we got on the benches this week? Jonathan.
I'm on the benches.
We know you're on the benches.
Yeah, it's Andy.
Andy.
I
see Andy sitting very, very far away from
No. I asked him to. I need my leg room because at some stage I may just be like this. Harry.
Honestly, you're camping it up like only you can. So we got Andy and we got the lovely Dan.
Dan.
And we've got Harry.
You asked me.
I know, but you're getting too long. Okay, Jonathan. Who else have we got on the benches tonight?
None of them other than that lot.
All right.
No one else. I can't see it. The invisible horse.
This is going to be a show and then some. Right, now...
We're going to forget about the benches in a minute.
Yeah, we'll just turn that camera
We're going to
off.
swap round in a minute. That's what
we might do. I think that's a really good idea. Anyway, look...
We're going to get rushed by the benches.
We will, yeah.
Let's take over, benches.
Benches.
It's the last match of the season.
Benches, do your job. Benches, do your job.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's run on the pitch. Yes!
Dearie me. Right, on the show, I'm not going to bother telling you about being on the benches. There is only one more show, and you kind of know the score by now. But I will warn you, next season, if you're unruly, I will put Jonathan on the benches with you. You have been warned. Right, now, on the show tonight, we will be having a look at Ross's player ratings for the last time this season.
We love you, Ross.
For the Cardiff game.
It won't be the last time because there'll be a final.
Well, there will be. Okay, I stand corrected. What do I know?
Final individual ratings, not a cumulative rating.
Yeah, well, there'll be more of that later as well. Now, we'll also be asking whether Hazard and Oscar need an attitude adjustment, or some of Dan's smelling salts, in fact. It's probably much the same thing. We'll be wondering whether Ashley Cole and Fernando Torres have played their last games for Chelsea, hopefully in the case of the latter, of course. And we will be praising Caesar Aspilicueta.
player of
That
the
was a
year.
pretty good gag, and nobody. I mean,
Well, if I was there, I'd have laughed at it.
I know.
But I'm not. I'm on the benches.
I know. I blame myself, but we will be praising Caesar because he's wonderful. We've also got the fannies for the Cardiff game, where we'll be awarding our man of the match, chance of the match, Guinness and celery moments, as always. Now, you lot out there, you've got half an hour to get your votes in for that on the website. Just go to chelseafancast.com/the-fannies. Now, important part 4 and 5, in lieu of no second game this week, we're actually going to be debating and finalising our nominations for the end of season awards, also known as the Fannies of the Year, and that will be great fun because there's some great moments to relive through that. And then when we've done that, I will start putting the nominations up on the website this week, so you can vote for them, and then we'll do our end of the season show next Monday.
On that point, is it the official one tonight?
Yeah.
Yes, it is the official one tonight. It's the potty tonight. So, you know, the Chelsea potty is
So
tonight.
it was this day last year when you ended up in a big conversation with Frank Lampard.
Yeah, well, they did it on the Thursday, I think,
That's
of
right,
Amsterdam, but yeah.
You declared love for Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
And Christine Bleakley was worried. Darren is Chelsea's greatest fan, I remember it well. Doesn't the year fly by fast? Anyway, so we've got all of that. It's going to be a great show tonight. Now, don't forget, you can tweet us at Chelsea FanCast. And if you're listening live on Mixlr, you can get involved in the chat room there, mixlr.com/Chelsea-fancast. But all you really need to do is just go to chelseafancast.com and go to the Chelsea Fancast TV bit, and you can listen, you can watch, you can do what you like. It's all good stuff. Now, the first of many, I suspect, of these. It is time for our big match review, which amazingly this week is Cardiff City v Chelsea. But I'm being reliably informed by Greg. Greg Gripper Grimes is in the gallery tonight, and there is no match sting. I can't think why, but there you go. But I bet you we do have one of these, though. We've got a player ratings. I think we should applaud Ross's player ratings that are about to come on screen now. Hey, there we go.
Don't we, Chidge, shouldn't we sing the big match theme?
Da, 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 da. Yeah, I tried a bit of drum bit in there. Pablo liked a bit. Yeah, he did. He liked a bit of drumming in there. Okay. All right, Ross's ratings without further ado. And I must say that thank God Greg was here, because he managed to find a picture of Kalas and stuck him in there, which would have been beyond me had it been just me doing it. But anyway, Schwarzer got 6, Aspilicueta got 7, Ivanovic got 6, Kalas got 6, Ashley Cole got 6.
All a bit low.
Mikel got 7. Matic getting higher now. Matic got 7. Salah got 5. Oscar got 6. Hazard got 7. Torres got 7. Yeah, that's way too high. The great thing is actually during these ratings, because Ross is actually sitting in the gallery, so we can, you know, yeah, he's looking, he's grinning, but he won't be in a minute. Anyway, I think the other ratings were Schürrle got 8 and Aki got 6, and Swift, he didn't really play long enough to get anything at all. Now, the first thing I wanted to say, Pablo, it was a funny-looking side, really, wasn't it? And it was kind of very end-of-the-season side. You know, you always get a few youngsters thrown in at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's to be expected, and it's not to be complained about, really, because we were where we were, and
Yeah.
that wasn't going to change.
Exactly. It wasn't really, nothing was really up for grabs. It wasn't really that important. Although, you know, earlier on, when Liverpool were losing to Newcastle, there was a possibility, had we not been 1-0 down at the time, and had we won the match and they'd lost it, that we might have been second.
Oh yeah, of course. But in all probability, they weren't going to lose that match, were they? So I mean, it's at that stage of the season, it's worth giving those who don't get to play as much a chance to have a run around ahead of it.
There was kind of like,
speculatively
Lord Mayor's show about it, wasn't it, really? And I mean, actually, Dan on Twitter, you know, highlighted
balloons and
this.
everything.
Uh-huh.
Balloons and everything.
Well, yes, indeed. But Ashley Cole was made captain, and Dan was saying in honour of his last match, possibly. And I don't know. I mean, if you looked at the side, who else would have been captain?
No, he was next in line. It was
next in
sort of
line.
his turn, but I still think it was probably his last game.
Well, we'll talk a lot more about that later, but I think it was really nice to see. I mean, interestingly enough, actually, in terms of who else would have done it, you know, Branner or Cahill, I would have thought.
Give it to Kalas.
Kalas would have been interesting.
No, Cahill would have
Torres
been
would have been
more
hilarious.
interesting.
Sorry?
Cahill would have been more interesting.
Well, and Cahill's...
He wasn't playing.
Well, sorry, of course he was. I told you I'm ill. Branner or Mikel is what I meant. It's written down there in front of me. I mean, how stupid can you be? Yeah, Branner or Mikel, I would have thought would have been a shout.
I don't think Mikel, he hasn't ever grown up and matured enough. I don't think
Not
Joe's
with a
ever
haircut
grown
like
enough.
I disagree with that. He's grown up and matured a lot.
Oh, okay.
Not to captain
isn't.
standards, but
I still don't think he's grown up. Or I don't think he has enough still, though. He has. He's got better, but I still think
grown up to me. He's a very big boy.
Yeah, he's still.
But he's not a rouser, is he? He's not someone that's going to kind of rally.
He
the
likes
troops
getting in referees' faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
anyway, I'm talking to Kalas. I thought it was very good to see Kalas getting another go, and I was particularly delighted to see Aki and Swift on the bench, and even more delighted to see them come in. What benches are nodding? I mean, Andy, you were happy with that by the looks of it.
Especially John Swift as well.
Yeah, you know.
Great for the lad.
It's very. I mean, I think we would all agree. I think all of us, wouldn't we, that it would. Well, I know you're shaking your head, but you know what I'm going to say yet, Jonathan.
I know.
It's always nice to see a few of the youth breaking through. Do you not think?
It's meaningless. The last game of the season.
Well, I know.
Meaningless. Got to give him a chance earlier on.
It's about the experience.
Well, but you know.
Lewis Baker at Derby as well, so it's good for the lads to know.
Yeah, but what's happened to Lewis Baker though?
He scored one of the goals of the season, mate.
Yeah, he hasn't played since though, has he?
Hasn't. No, he didn't score it for the first team. He scored it against Arsenal.
The point is, it's better to put these players in a no pressure situation than it is to chuck them in when we're still chasing for the league and the Champions League.
Why doesn't he put more in and play them for longer?
Because, like all managers, Jonathan, they just won't take the risk because it's a results game. I think it's a catch-22. It'll be very interesting to see what happens next season.
Ross's ratings, we haven't even mentioned them.
I know, we're about to talk about them now. What do you think? Hey, Darren, what do you think of Ross's ratings?
Agree with most of them, don't agree with all of them.
That
I
really
think
put you off,
Torres was a bit too generous. Salah.
Given that Torres pretty much made the game how it was by failing to score a very easy opportunity at the beginning, I don't think he can possibly be credited with anything really.
I thought it was ridiculously generous for Torres, even though he scored. I thought apart from that, they're all about right, really.
Yeah,
I think Salah deserved his 5.
I think Salah deserved the 4 though against.
I was going to say 4 for Salah, really.
And he did the week before against Norwich as well, and he got a 6.
I don't want to have a go at Salah.
I
don't want to have a go at Salah because he's a bit of a thing in process. You know, we haven't yet seen what he is.
I agree. I think next season
the problem is though, he's going to be excellent coming on at 2-0 up against a team that's pushing on, or against when we play Arsenal when there's a load of space behind. He's not going to be the one that's able to make the differences in the tight spaces. I haven't seen anything yet to suggest that he's going to.
I agree. He needs to learn how to shoot. Now, we've got to go for a break, but we will be back after to get our teeth well and truly into the last game of the season. See you in a minute.